Alaikum everyone, this is Ismahan Taj.
and Anif Razak.
Today we have selected the topic for our presentation is asylum. In this slide we see the table of content. There are some topics which we are going to talk about, that what is asylum under international law and etc. Before jump to the topic, I want to tell you about the article number 14 which was given to us by International Court of Justice. If we are at risk of harm, we have the right to go another country to seek protection. It means that it is clearly written here. It means if we are a danger in our country, or someone wants to kill us, if we have danger in our life or our family, so we are free to leave the country and to go another country to seek the protection. So the next slide is, what is asylum? The word asylum is Latin term derived from the Greek word asylia, which means immovable place. Asylum means provide shelter and protection given by another state in its territory when its own state consider him as offender. In asylum, another state in which decline to surrender a person to requesting state. Asylum under international law. Under the principles of international law, the right to seek asylum is a diplomatic embassy. So if you really wanna go to another country to leave your country, so you must have you must go to the embassy, and you should go to the embassy to show your documents and the country name where you want to go, and the reason as well. The second step is the application of jurisdiction. If you really want to leave your country, so you have to go to the court, you have to sign for your documents to the judge, then he will allow you to go and to leave the country. So we have two kinds of asylum. There are two kinds of asylum. Number one is territorial asylum. When asylum is granted by a state within its territory, is considered as territorial asylum. Territorial asylum is based on the territorial sovereignty over all person who is found under the territory of the state. It means that territorial asylum is internal control. You can see in this image that it is written that territorial asylum mean in the border you are asylum, you are hiding yourself from the danger in your own country, and in this way the country has the rules and regulation which it follow to help you. No one is allowed to take you from there, like not external power will be allowed. At the second, extraterritorial asylum. When asylum is granted by a state outside its own territory, is considered as extraterritorial asylum. When asylum is granted in embassy, consular premises which is situated in the territory of other state, is considered as granting asylum in the territory of other state. It means that when you wanna go to the another country, then you go to their embassy, then you submit your documents, then that country will help you, then country will not allow you to go in another country. It means that in the territorial asylum, your country has the power to give you punishment, but in the extraterritorial asylum, your country has no right to touch you until the United Nations tell him about you or submit any law. So here is another topic, which is types of asylum. There are two types of asylum. Number one is affirmative asylum, and second is defensive asylum. First, I want to talk about the affirmative asylum. For affirmative asylum, the most important step they can take is to hire an immigration lawyer. It means that if you want to go from the plan or in the positive way, you do not need to rush. You have to submit your documents, and a lawyer, you have to hire a lawyer which is which applied the law of the United Nations. Then you will be allowed. No one will touch you in the airport, no one will touch you and that country, that why you are here. That is called the affirmative asylum. At the and on the other hand, we have defensive asylum. Entering into this country without any paper legal documents. If you are having any fear or any danger in your country, you do not take any paper, you directly go to the another country before in the from seaways. Then no one will ask you for the documents. This is called the defensive asylum. Then the country will protect you and will not return you. Entering into the country which violates the immigration status. As we have talked about in the last previous type, you have to hire the immigration lawyer. Here you are not allowed, you cannot allow any immigration lawyer because you do not have any documents. The people who were sought out customs and border and tries to enter the country without paper documentation. As I mentioned, and as I mentioned before, that you do not have any documentation, then how you can hire a immigration lawyer. The people who found to have been entered by carrying a credible torture or fear of persecution. Is the people are found that they are very fair in their country, they go into another country for the defense. Then our army is killing us or the people are killing us, you have to protect us because it is our human right. So I want Anif to start his topics about the asylum for further. Thank you.
Yes, further, I would like to tell you that reason asylum can be granted. Asylum is granted to save a person. It's mean that if you are not longer safe in your own country, that you can apply to the local authority, like if you are not longer safe in your own country, that you can apply to the abroad country for the further jurisdiction. And you can you can get residential over there. And the second one, asylum can be granted to extra legal ground or humanitarian grounds. It's mean that whenever you go to any abroad country, so they will give you live and all facilities. If you talk about the further, the national security also play an important role is in granted asylum. It means that if you are the next the next step is also saying that if you are not believe on your national security, so you can also apply on the abroad. If we further discuss reason asylum cannot be granted, territorial asylum cannot be granted who has committed crime against peace, crime against humanity, and war crime. So, if you are wanted in your own country, so you cannot be able to apply to the other country for the asylum because you are already wanted. You are harm for the society, and how it can be possible that you apply to out of country and any abroad country for asylum. So this is the main reason that cannot be granted. A person who is very involved in any war cases, any criminal cases, who is involved in any criminal cases, he will not be able to apply any abroad country. Asylum cannot be granted when a person convicted or engage in international crime like genocide. So a person a person is a international criminal, so he will not be able to apply for the asylum. So a state cannot grant it to a person who are involved in the activity uh, contrary to the principle of the United Nations. So here is a very clear as mirror, that for suppose if a any country, if you are criminal and you are involved in any bad activities, so you apply to another country. So if the country who accept you as an asylum, but the United Nations know that you are international criminal, and the United Nation go against that country who is give you give who is accept you as an asylum, so state uh, that state cannot be like that state cannot be survive well in all over the world countries. So because he is giving an criminal as a criminal give the well residency to the criminal person who is asylum according to United Nation. So if you further talk about the merits of asylum, so it's like it has some benefits. Like if you talk about the first example, you will be allowed to live and work legally. So if a person who migrate to the other country, who feel that he is no longer safe in his own country, so he apply for the asylum person, so he or she will be allowed to work legally, because the other country also giving you permission and accepted you as a asylum. So the state and the country will give you permission to work peacefully. So the other point, you will be able to apply for lawful permanent residents, a green card. Like here they're talking about that you can get nationality of that country. Okay, like if you talk about who is like our country politician Altaf Hussain, who also migrate Pakistan to uh, UK. So as a asylum, he been there, and still he is there, and he is living there. And some like journalists said that he has the hotel and some restaurant in UK and London. Okay, so third one, you would be safe in that country if you feel unsafe in your own country. So it's other point also clear that if you are like feeling that you are no longer in your own country, so you can go to other country as a asylum, and you will be safe in that country. If you further talk about the demerits of asylum, so inability to leave the country. So for suppose uh, if you migrate to the other country as an asylum, so then you will not be able to leave that country which you have chosen with your own with your own responsibility. That so you would not be able to leave that country. So this is the big demerits of asylum. So the next point, inability to return to the country of persecution. So it's also clear that if you leave your own country to go another country, so your the another country will not leave you go to return to your own country. It's a very big demerit of like asylum. So it's very like if you return to your own country, so it might be possible that you expose something about them. So if you further talk about the inability to see the relative, the third point. So here that you will not be able to see your relative, and you will not be able to get together your relative and friends, etc. So the fourth point is that the possibility of deportation. So if you find out any such kind of case and they suspect on you that they suspect that you are involving any bad activity and you might be harmful for them, then it can be possible they return you to your own country. It's most possibilities. And the further, if I talk about the current situation of COVID-19 asylum, so before, in this like current situation, if the person who wants to migrate to go another country as a asylum person, so it might be harmful for him, because it's a very big thing. Before COVID-19, the person only on go directly, but in this period it can be uh, apply online, it can be apply online, and it can be possible to, it can't be possible go directly. Thank you so much.